I'm joined here today by one of my favorite local artists. It is the lovely Pipin. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. That's such a beautiful intro. I'm having some outside time. I just got home from work. I'm out here with the duckies. We're having some outside time. Lots of little puddles. So if you hear cracking, that's why. But I'm good. I'm feeling like fatigued, but present. Yeah.
I
How are
love
you?
that, yes. Pretty much the same. I wish I could coin it so eloquently myself, but yes. Yes. We're
Yeah.
here today to chat about your latest release. It is your sophomore EP, Music for Moths, is out everywhere now. I love this so dearly. It's a little slice of self-described cosmic pop. I really vibe with that. What was your inspiration behind the sound?
That's a really great question. Yeah, um, I think I absolutely adore pop music, and I really feel I love the simplicity in which pop music allows you to have uh, express like really complex emotions, but in a way that's packaged, that's really like palatable for people, and bright. And I wanted to use like pop sounds and everything, but also experiment with more um, electronic and warpy and interesting and vague music. So I feel like the cosmic pop term sort of hopefully encompasses like pop, but also it's got a little bit of otherworldliness to it, a little bit of extra flavor. And I think it's one of those really interesting things, and that particularly when I was writing this EP or other things, I'm sort of just letting the songs be what they are. So I was writing a lot of music, and this lot of songs just felt most cohesive together. But there's space for many genres in Pippin. I'm really enjoying writing stuff that's really fun and playful and silly. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. This sort of like cosmic pop idea reminds me a lot of like, the rainbow paddle pops,
Yeah.
like with all the different colors. I'm like, yes, I see that. I feel that when I listen to the music.
I love that so much. We've been saying lately, my housemates and I, like when we get a little bit too, when you get a little bit too deep into something, you like rabbit
Mm.
holed yourself into something.
Yeah,
We're like, oh no, we're lost in the cosmic soup. It's happened.
I love that. I'm going
Yeah.
to end up using that now.
Yeah. So I think that it's meant to be like I really like the world building, and I hope that that is what I've created with this EP. Like I had a very clear um, concepts with the imaging, and yeah, I really worked to pick the songs that would be on it that would flow best together to sort of create this world. Yeah, I mean, Pippin in itself is like a amplified version of me, like a me, but as a persona of me. So it's really, really nice to sort of just experiment with like aspects of yourself, but also create characters and worlds and things like that. Yeah, within the art form.
Oh, I love that so much. It's such a beautiful thing to think about. Like, you don't really set out intentionally to like sit down and go, okay, I'm going to plan this, like the Pippin character, and I'm going to plan this world. But the way it comes out is so beautiful and so enjoyable for us listeners.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it has obviously it's grown and transformed a lot um over the past 5 years since I started making the project, and I think there's still space for it to move in however or whichever way I grow as a person and everything. But I feel really proud of where it's at and happy with where it's at, and it's been such a collaborative process to bring everything together, which has been really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to just dive through this EP a little bit quickly. You spent about 3 years crafting it together. How was that journey for you to sit with all of these songs for such a long time and really figure out how to translate your feelings, your emotions, who you are at that moment in time into these songs?
Yeah, so I did. I It was a really interesting period of time because I had started writing the music for the EP and at that point in time, I sort of thought, oh, I'm going to do the singles thing for a while, and just put out a bunch of singles and see what happens. And then it slowly started to weave its way into where I was like, oh, these songs kind of, they've got similar themes, or they work really well in together. And then in 2023, I did a photo shoot with my friend Thomas Calder, who is an amazing artist in his own right, and also photographer and filmmaker. And we did this shoot, which when we work together and collaborate, it is just absolute beautiful chaos. Like, I picked these outfits, I styled it, we had a makeup artist, our friend Nina, and we didn't go in with any plan. We just knew that we wanted to create a whole bunch of different moods. And then sort of I'd started writing the EP, but then the photos from that shoot, I think we had 5 different moods. They then influenced the songwriting, and I really looked at the songs that I'd written and then wrote more songs to sort of fit the images that I had, because I really I think very visually, and I like to use that as a visual stimulus to create everything. And during that period of time, I was going through a whole lot of change. I still feel like that is happening all the time. Like, I'm altering and changing, but the last 3 years have been really impactful in my personal life and who I am and who I am becoming. And so I felt myself grow towards the light and towards joy and towards creative expression. And that's really became like the center point of this EP, was to really feel like I could stand as a creative on my own 2 feet, but also I do it in a way that was like playful and genuine to my spirit, and not take it too seriously or too personally, or hold too tightly to it. And so that's why I think, as it's come out and I'm really happy with how it's doing, and as we played the show and everything, like, I've just been so surprised by every milestone along the way, because I think I am open to whatever is happening. Yeah.
That is so interesting to hear, because when you listen to the EP, at least like from my perspective, you can kind of like feel yourself like unraveling and changing and being like, wow, okay, I can relate this to my own experiences and my own feelings, things like that. And then to hear the process was similar for you creating it is such a special thing to realize. I love that so much. Thanks for sharing.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yeah, I mean, I really, because the imagery of moths was really important, obviously, in the EP, and like the metamorphosis that moths and butterflies go through in the cocooning stage, but then also their like attraction, particularly moths' attraction to light and like resilience within things, just like underpins everything in the EP. I hope it's really hopeful. That's what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my first thoughts when I finished the EP for the first time, because my favorite song is the final track, Moths. I was like, yes, I love this so much. I was kind of like, wow, this is like if Dua Lipa was writing songs in like a backyard in Meanjin. And it was such a moment where I was like, wow, it is so bonkers how amazing your songwriting is, and how like international scale famous it could be if just the right people got listening to it.
That's really kind. I mean, you know, a girl can dream, but in saying that, like, I'm also got no expectations for it to grow. I'm just making stuff because it's fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. And tapping into the fun, I have a really strong memory of you that you probably will not even remember at all. When I was a little baby a few years ago, I was working at my very first 18 plus gig, and I was terrified. I was so anxious. Like, I'm like, this is going to go horribly. I'm going to screw up something major. It's going to ruin the whole like night of performances. And then you were there at the bar asking for hot water to fill up your kettle to make a tea, or like asking to plug in your kettle to make a tea to like soothe your voice. And I was like, okay, you're like, you're being nice and calm, preparing nice and calm. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That lady wanted to boil her kettle for tea. And anyway, I was like still, you know, a little anxious throughout the rest of the night. And then you got on stage, you had this fabulous outfit. It was at the zoo, and I was just kind of standing there near the stairs watching you. And then I was no longer anxious, no longer stressed. I was just fully captivated by your performance. Everything was so fun. There were bright lights. Everyone on stage looked so good. The crowd was dancing. You were singing your heart out. It was genuinely such a positive space to be in. How does it feel to be up on stage, putting together this immaculate energy, watching the crowd responding? How is that feeling for you?
That is such a beautiful story. And I'm so glad. I love a little tea before I perform. I'm like, ooh, get it going. Get the vocal cords warmed up and working. I think it is such an energy exchange on stage, and I can't take credit totally for the immaculate vibes. Like, I'm giving out some energy and people are receptive and giving it back, and I think people, like, joy is such an act of resistance now more than ever, and I really want to cultivate that in a gig setting through being authentic and also being lively and really present. And I hope that presence that I try and bring to shows and live settings and interacting with people in the crowd, that is like infectious. I'm very like conscious of making sure that my energy is as magnetic as it can be to draw other people into a space where they feel comfortable and like they can express themselves and feel alive. And I feel incredibly blessed that it seems like the people that we attract to our shows are people that are very open-minded, they're very diverse, they're very accepting, they want to build community, they want to be involved in something, and I'm not separate to people that are watching me perform. Like, we are one being on stage. It is like one whole energy that's being created, and yeah, I just feel it's like incredible privilege to bring that together and facilitate that. But I really can't take credit for it. Like, it's it's the whole band, the way that we love each other and the way that friendship is a really big part of the Pipin project, and the friendship extends then out to people that watch us and see us play, because yeah, we can't do it without people coming to see, and vice versa. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a special little area in our local music scene. Like, there's some artists where you'll go to the show and there's just not that connection with the wider crowd and the music, or the wider crowd and the artist. But then you walk into the next concert and it's just like everyone's on the same wavelength. Everyone is onto the vibe. They can feel the music. The artist is then benefiting off the crowd's energy, and it is the most magical thing you can really see. It's so magical.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we are actually just so incredibly blessed to live where we do. It is like just such an insanely beautiful bunch of people that are making things, being a part of it, getting involved in different things, even if they're not making music. Like, it's nice to feel like I can go to kind of any music event, a gig or something else, and just know that I'm going to run into friends. Because people are also really open to making friends. And I've made more friends since I started making music with Pipin than I've ever had in my whole life.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful community, and it is so special. Especially, like, I noticed in like the broader music scene, like international music scene, people who like pop music don't get the best rep. There's always like someone online being like, no, pop music's horrible, blah, 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 trying to dampen all of this light and all of this goodness. But around here, we have such a rich scene of artists making beautiful pop music like yourself, of people heading out there, having the best time. It is so refreshing to see. And I'm so glad I can stand here and be like, I'm one of those people who's like enjoying this and empowering this, because It's insane. Y'all are so talented and it blows my mind.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's a rich scene. And I mean, even in terms of working out who to support at the show that we most recently played, um, it was hard. Like I felt inundated with possibilities of people that we could have support because there really is just so many. And I honestly think that speaking to what you just said, I do think that that space being opened up in Meanjin in Brisbane is really because there is a really strong group of particularly like women and feminist movement because pop music is sort of inherently a little bit feminist. It seems to attract women, and I do think that in Brisbane there's been this like beautiful shift in the music industry where there's a lot more women or gender non-conforming folk who are just like so ready to support each other and lift each other up. And that's what I will say, I suppose talking to friends that live in different cities, is that it feels very non-competitive here. It just feels like very supportive. We all love each other and go to each other's things, and that's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes I sit here and I go, wow, I really love how this state has like such like a thriving industry, or this state has this venue that looks really cool. And then I sit back, I go, actually, we're not doing too bad up here. We have a lovely community of fans, a lovely community of artists. And sometimes you just take those things for granted. You don't actually realize how special it is and sometimes how unique it is to have this sort of community growing up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're very blessed. I mean, I haven't had the chance yet, or to make music really in a different city. Pipin started when I was already living in Brisbane for a couple of years, and I, look forward to that challenge. But I think this place holds like such a special moment in my heart because it really is. It's really unique. Yeah.
Oh, it's so special. And speaking of community, speaking of our lovely Meanjin music scene, I'd love to kind of hand over our playlist of the week to you and let you give a shout out to some local acts you've been listening to and loving and who you think that we are going to love as well.
Okie dokie. Wow, there's just the possibilities are truly endless. At the moment, I have been listening to a lot of the Buttercats, which are just they're a local Brizzy band. They just released a new song called Voices, which is very, very fun, very groovy, soulful. Tim's got an amazing voice. It's a like a family band kind of like the lead singer and guitarist is brother sister with the drummer, and then the bassist and the keyboard player are both brothers, which is just really lovely feeling. And there's so many. I've also been really loving Chloe Jett. She just released a new song pretty recently. Rael also just released a new song. I'm a really big fan of her like broody pop and the way that she weaves together, and she's also just an incredible guitarist and the way that the guitar melodies work in that. Also, I'm like just such a fan of like Hazel May, but that is probably because she plays in my band. I love her.
That's okay. It still counts.
So I will shamelessly plug her at any opportunity that I ever get. Serendipity, just Serendipity as well. My list is truly endless. I think it's one of those really interesting things where I look back at my Spotify Wrapped at the end of every year, and I always get the little notification of like you're listening to like 80% Australian artists, 90, and then the ones I'm not listening to that aren't Australian are like top tier, like international pop.
Yes, that's mine exactly.
Yeah. So there's honestly so many people that I love and that I could plug, and I just really implore people if they're local to get out and watch live music and see live shows. There's so much going on. There's so many venues that are just absolutely desperate for people to show up, turn up, and let's like not forget to why we exist is to like how if you're going to consume something, like consume art and other people's art, and we exist to be around each other and talk to people and experience things, and like going to gigs is such an amazing way to feel joy and experience beautiful life. Yeah.
Oh, that is so important and also so beautifully said. Thank you so much.
That's okay. I've been thinking about it a lot because I've been getting lost in the cosmic soup sometimes.
Yeah.
And forgetting to prioritize friendship and fun. But it's really vital for us to remain resilient together. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the cosmic soup of the internet and social media is what's getting me lately. There is so much negativity about like venues are closing down or they're on their last legs, or bands are announcing, hey, we've given it our best shot, but unfortunately we can't continue anymore because we're not making money. It's causing us too much stress. And sometimes, yeah, you just got to sit back and go, okay, instead of feeling sad, I'm going to actually do something about this. What can I do to support local voices, amplify people who deserve to be listened to?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be, I totally agree. If you think on it, it can be extremely disheartening and upsetting, but let that like be a vehicle for change, for like internal change and action. Yeah,
Absolutely.
To make an impact, because we shape, like we are the young people, so we shape the culture, and whatever that looks like. And I do think people have a longing for like connection and a pushback against the seriousness. And it's not about not caring about things or being. It's just about walking lightly and knowing that, making joy a priority is still a super important action.
That is so important. Thank you for like putting that thought and that feeling into words, because it's something I know so many people have that bouncing around their heads. They just haven't been able to find the words for that. So thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome. I'm learning it from the ducks.
That's fair enough. Some creatures have higher wisdom than us people, and you have to remember that.
Yeah, Maurice definitely does. He knows what's up. He's worked it out.
Yes, that's valid. Listen to the ducks, folks. They know the answer.
Grass, sleeping and pooping. That's all they do.
It's all you need at the end of the day. That and connection and community, and to support local artists.
Exactly. And I mean, they're ducks that love music, so, you know. Exactly.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for making time to chat with us today. Yeah, go listen to Music for Moths now if you haven't, because I genuinely have had this on repeat. Your music is such a thing. I can just chuck on repeat and then half an hour later be like, whoa, I've actually been listening to the same song for half an hour and I didn't even realize. Like, you know, it is so good. I love your music. I love your art so much. Thank you for doing amazing things.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I really appreciate your time and what you're doing for the music industry, because it's really important and it's really valuable and special, and just keep doing it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.